Hi, this is Graphically Alex coming at you with all things fat related. If that's in the industry, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. I have to say it as fast as possible. And also, today we're here with the Fireflies. We're here with Angelica and no, I'm just kidding, Robin.
Sunny side egg.
Yes, the egg girl.
Whatever you want to call me.
But no, so today we're going to do a little bit of an activist video again, because I have to, and I have to like swing this around because I'm responsible. But we're going to talk about the state of war of anti-FA. Who else better to have talk about this with than the two of them, because we have a lot going on. And as you guys know, Angelica Unfiltered has to be filtered now. So there's been certain changes that have gone on. And so that is a part of this. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But I have a script we're going to read through, my thoughts. We're going to use a lot of Last of Us lore in this, which they both know the show, at least, and the game somewhat. I'm not like a super expert because I haven't finished the second season because I'm kind of, I don't know. I'm just gay. I didn't finish. So I need to watch no, I watched it, but I need to finish watching the second game. That's what I meant. But anyways, fuck Abby. That's all I have to say now.
Yeah. We stopped watching the TV show as soon as the thing happened. I'll just say that.
Yeah. I finished it. But I don't know if I'm going to watch the next season that comes out. It just doesn't seem...
I don't know either.
They could have just ended
but there is a new game coming, but that's not what this... So anyways, let's go ahead and get started. And we're going to talk about why I use this. So I get to be a teacher. I get to be a professor. I'm supposed to be dressed kind of like Ellie. Okay, so I got my gun. I'm ready. I'm immune. I was bit. I survived. So we're going to talk about this. So I call it The Last of Us Actually Losing the Weight. Why the metaphor? I chose this metaphor because it does a few things right off the bat. One, it lets people know that this is not only spreading, it has already taken over. So there is this huge misconception that this is just beginning. This is not just beginning. This is like decades down the line. And I like this metaphor because it shows what it's like when it's already gone. So we've already lost sanity a long time ago. And we're trying to get it back, basically, which is where they're at in the game and show. Two, the zombie aspect reminds people that the TR, or as I call it, the toxic ritualistic, I have to code it for YouTube, but I'm talking about E followed by the letter D. And within the zombie aspect, I'm talking about all of them. So each issue, they all work together. So it's not simply centered around BINGE, it's centered around all of them because they all reinforce each other. So anyways, but a lot of people forget that it's a mental illness, meaning that people get delusional and people lie all the time. And people, for some reason, assume that somebody who has these issues is sane. They really do. So bringing in the zombie aspect, it reminds people that the person that they're seeing is not who they once were, or they're not quite them. So anyways, three, it is a useful way to talk about how to fight this problem. It organizes the enemy into different categories so you can learn to recognize the patterns and not only not fall for them, but be able to fight them more effectively. Four, it highlights the group effort aspect and shows how it isn't just an internal issue. It is often externalized and promoted by those that have it. So that's why I chose this, because I want us all together collectively to come up with effective strategies to fight these different categories of zombie. All I'm really doing in this video is stating the state of war, so where we're at. And I don't have all the answers. This isn't something that one person can solve. This is a group collective effort that we all have to contribute to. So I do want to say, like, and I'm going to be asking Robin and Angelica their experiences of dealing with zombie people on their channels, and also some strategies that they have, or how do they handle it, that kind of thing. And I want you guys to comment some of your strategies too, because this is a working issue, or this is an issue that's evolving all the time. So let's just do a little bit of an introduction. The Last of Us lore. For those of you who don't know the story, The Last of Us TV show / video game tells the story of a world taken over by cordyceps infection. It is based on a real-life fungus that takes control of ants in the wild in order to proliferate itself. This is very similar to how the TR functions in a person. It is not enough to suffer alone. You must encourage others to suffer with you. Why? Because it is so miserable that you have to constantly convince yourself of why you're taking part in the behaviors. This is much easier to do if you are surrounded by others with the issue you have more directly, or other types of issues in the TR less directly. However, it is important to understand that all of the issues work to reinforce each other. And the more severe a person is in the issue, the more spores of the toxic ritualistic they release. So basically, EFA by letter D, it's not similar to other types of issues because there's deep psychological issues, but there's also external issues and a constant promotion and a constant attempt at normalization, which is similar to zombie cordyceps infection. The cordyceps fungus takes control of ants and makes them like walk up into sunlight, and then the fungus grows outside of them, and then it spreads more spores to infect more. And that's basically how this functions on a social level. So it works very well, let's say. But yeah, other than that, I just realized the connection when I was deep in my anhedonia phase in January. And I was like, why am I so obsessed with this? And then I understood why, because I think there was like a subconscious aspect. But yeah, do you guys have any thoughts so far?
No, I really do. I do believe that it's a great metaphor for the whole, fat acceptance movement, the TR.
Yeah, and I think it's a good point to bring up, like, that people that are in these movements or have these issues, like, it is a mental health condition.
Yeah.
And obviously when someone is having mental health issues, it can make them delusional, and it's hard to fight factually with them sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Or like speak with logic to like get your point across, because they're just so disconnected from what's actually going on, because their internal world is just so different from the external.
I think it works too, because it shows the dichotomy between dealing with normal people or people that are outside of the issue, and also people that are inside of it, and how sometimes those goals are not aligned. And people within the issue, they talk differently to people also within the issue than they do to people in public, or to the average person as well. So to the average person, a lot of it is, all bodies are, we have, all bodies are beautiful and things like that. Like they try to say things that are very like non-threatening or non-alarming, but in reality, they're saying we should normalize obesity. That's basically what they're saying.
Yeah.
And they can't say that out loud because it's too direct, but they say things very indirectly a lot of the time. So it's difficult to fight, but it's still, I like the metaphor too for that differentiation between the two, basically. Okay. So in society, it functions as follows. Make the population class 1 obese. So they want class 1 obesity, especially because they want to still be able to have people in the issue be either bigger or smaller. So that's really, really important. So I think a lot of people think they want everyone to be like super morbid.
Mhm.
That's not true, because then somebody within BINGE, they couldn't stand apart from the crowd. They still want to be able to stand apart. But if people are all obese, then they can still do that, basically. And we'll talk about like why they do that. So if you can condition the public to believe that obesity is normal and inevitable, it serves the issue in many ways. Firstly, it makes not being obese seem exceptional and worthy of praise and validation. Remember, it was always the norm to not be obese. So the fact that like we in America are like, there was a time when it wasn't normal, that shows how successful they are. So I need you to understand They've already won. We're already there. The American project, they want this for the whole world. That's basically what it is. So they have succeeded in the United States at normalizing obesity. They want that everywhere.
Mm.
So that's the next goal. And they are trying to expand. I see it a lot in the UK. They're really trying to take a stronghold there. And I think Mexico, they're doing it there. They're doing it everywhere.
Does Mexico have like their like a fat acceptance movement there? Have you noticed? I know
I'm
that
not
obesity
sure.
is a huge problem there just because like Coca-Cola
Yeah.
and stuff.
I'm sure. I don't know if they would have the same language or the same way of talking about it, but it's there. I mean, you can see the normalization of obesity happening there. And it's obviously in Canada, but that's just like almost without even saying.
Well, even like with Mexico, it's like a lot of like if you've ever been around people that speak Spanish, it's like a lot of the nicknames that they give each other are usually like based around weight or like
Your
gordita,
size.
gordo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it does feel like it's probably a little bit normalized.
Mhm. It's definitely, and it's like I said, they want it to be global. So they want it everywhere. It's like it needs to be everywhere and anywhere. Make no mistake. I think they did even try in Japan for a second. I don't know if that one lasted, but they tried. I saw that. There are other areas of Europe. I had somebody comment. They said that it's happening, I think, in Russia. They're starting to do it there. Like they're going for it. So I want you to know it's coming for you.
I feel like a lot of foreign countries that are kind of getting fatter, I don't know how to even like intelligently describe that. They have like a huge wave of like Western restaurants making that way.
Mhm.
Like
That's
Japan
true.
used to be well, it's still obviously known for like being super skinty, but like they really love like McDonald's over there and
Mhm.
like Western fast food. And they have 7-Elevens and I mean, I heard that their 7-Elevens are pretty dope though. Like there's like a lot more healthier food, but just from what I've seen because I've lived overseas, they love American fast food. And all of the countries that do have a lot of American fast food are getting fat. So
Yeah, like
Mhm.
Dubai has I think a very high obesity rate, and then a lot of like the ultra processed food companies like that make like ramen noodles, for example. I remember
Mhm.
what's that one lady's name? Kiera Daughtry.
yeah, I
She
think
made a video talking about how like this one ramen noodle company has made their way over to Africa, and more people are now suffering with
Mhm.
malnutrition due to obesity
wow.
rather than
Mhm.
starvation because of these companies.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I believe that a lot of the people in these companies, they are probably within the issue. So they also actively promote, but there's also wolves, which we'll get into that later. So people who are very financially focused or that
Motivated.
use
Yeah.
the zombie horde to make money. There's a lot of money in it, which that's very cynical, but we'll talk about that later. But that's where I think corporations fall. It's really they're either one, compromised by people in the issue, or two, they're people who are capitalizing on it and
Right.
therefore still kind of spreading it, or at least not fighting it at all. I'll put it to you
Mhm.
that way. Because they can't force you to eat their food. They can't. I haven't eaten fast food in forever. Like I hardly ever eat it. Well, I just ate it. I haven't, what I mean by that is I haven't had it be like a part of my daily lifestyle in
Mhm.
forever. It's very rare.
Yeah.
So
It's
they
gone
don't
back
want
to
that to
being a special
happen.
occasion for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they
Like
don't
how it
want
should
that to
be.
happen with most
Mhm.
people. They want everybody to go every day because it makes them more money. So that is definitely a part of it for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, they
But,
can't force you to eat it, but they can make you addicted
yeah.
to it, so then you eat it all
Yeah.
the time.
Make it
And they
taste
can
super good.
also put tons of ads and do that kind of stuff. So that's part of it too. But then you
Yeah, you're never
have
gonna see an ad for like broccoli.
no. No,
No.
no, no. And if you did, it would be condemned as diet culture and it would be
Mm.
condemned as horrible and actually probably taken off the TV because
TR.
it would be
Yeah.
harmful and it would encourage, the E fall by letter D or self-hatred. That's what they would say. So we also have zombie enforcement too of these things as well, which we had that with the ad on the Super Bowl, eat real food. You had a huge zombie backlash just to an ad. So that's also why, because a lot of companies and politics and all that, they want to appeal to the public and they feel like the zombies are the public. So they're like, oh, we guess we won't say anything again.
Mm-hmm.
And then they stop, it works, but we can't let it work anymore. Okay, so let me continue. If thin people are exceptional, then the body size hierarchy is created. Once the hierarchy is there, it can be used to reinforce. Anna can feel special for what she is doing. Mia can try to be like Anna, and Bingo can victimize himself. So how is this sustained? Whenever something comes up as an intervention for obesity, it is overglorified, then abused, then not demonetized, although that comes later, then demonized, then demonized, then at times outright banned. Look no further than what is happening to Ozempic now. As of 2026, the demonization has begun. So you're seeing a massive campaign. They already did the over-glorification of it back in 2023, 2024, 2025. Now they're switching. They did the abuse of it. So now all these studies are coming out of how harmful it is and how awful, and it affects your bones and it affects this and your muscle and makes you blind. It makes you have diarrhea all the time. Like, they're just going to start saying every single negative thing about it ever.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see it constantly. And over the next couple years, they may get them banned. So that's what happens. So I use the example of calories. You can barely say it on YouTube today. Think about that. I can barely say it. So I'm going to have to say cal or CAL. I have to censor that word because they've demonized it so much. The same exact playbook happened with cal. It was never banned, but now it is so demonized, it is becoming edgy to talk about it. If they could ban it, they would. If they could ban you from being able to track that, they would absolutely do it. It's just too hard to do. That's why they can't. But think of something as basic as that. They have demonized that for decades, for years and years and years. It's horrible. It doesn't work. It's not this. It's not that. It's so miserable. I have such an anxiety attack every time I look at it. I can't, it's triggering. Oh my God, I can't, I did too much before and I almost died because of that, because you told me to look at this. You see, that's part of it. And also the reductive side, they also abuse these things at times on purpose, even if it's subconsciously, so that the public will not do it. They will see it as harmful.
Sorry, I want to make sure I don't talk over anyone.
No problem.
But I think it was in the Jillian Michaels a roundtable conversation or whatever, where I think she said that there were some like body positivity, fat acceptance people that were like trying to get nutrition labels taken off of food because of like seeing the CALS was like very triggering. And it's like, that's something that should be so neutral, but because people have like all these emotions wrapped up into things that they think it's like the most toxic thing ever and like the worst thing that could happen to society, when it's just something that should be a number.
Yeah. If I was so, triggered by a nutrition label or like seeing CALs, I would just like switch to Whole Foods. And then you would never you don't need a nutrition label if you just buy Whole Foods,
You're thinking
But
too smart.
They'll do that wrong too.
Just be logical.
Yeah. Like when I was in the issue, I did keto in a way that was very not good. And so there's a lot of people that do that too. So they'll do anything. They do it with anything and anything. And then there's a lot of people that go vegan, for example, and they upsize drastically.
Yeah.
Drastically.
Yeah. Because Oreos are vegan.
Peanut butter's vegan.
There's a way to BUSE anything. I feel like I can't say anything, which we're gonna get into that. Don't worry.
It's ridiculous.
It is. But anyways, okay. In the United States, zombies took over the conversation a long time ago. If you are outside of the US, understand that what is going on here is coming for your country. It likely started when fat acceptance began. So that's towards the late 60s. And slowly but surely, it took over everything. It's not that zombies never existed before that time. It's that they weren't organized. I'm sure there were small groups of people in the issue, but around the time fat acceptance began, around the late 60s, a toxic ritualistic cultural wave was well underway. By the 1980s, it was in full swing. By the 1990s, obesity was double what it was in the 1950s. By the 2000s, it had tripled. By the 2020s, it has quadrupled. So we are at a place where it's 4 times as many people are obese now than in the 1950s. That's where we're at. And there was a wave of TRBS right at the start of the 50s too. So it was kind of starting and bubbling, but it took over in the late 60s, I would say. And then you had them, they took over the media. So by the 80s, they were pushing it constantly. And then you have like, especially a lot of Gen X women, they were pushed, you know, it took over. It was just everywhere by the 80s. It was crazy. And then look at us now. So they've won.
Yeah.
I would say they won at this point. We're at a place where they took over completely. Obesity is normalized. And to speak out against that is seen as crazy and wild and whatever, even though, which people will often say, it's the factory stuff, it's, you know, food production is more, but you don't see the same level of severity in other countries. So the cultural aspect is very important to understand. Like, yes, I do agree, like food is plentiful and that kind of stuff, but food is just as plentiful in Europe. And the culture hasn't shifted. So it's starting to. So you just wait. And then you'll see too, a lot of the scientists, they say it like almost like a spell. They're like, obesity will take over the whole world by 2030. Obesity is coming for everybody. Like they want it to happen almost. It's like, it doesn't have to. It's not inevitable, you know?
It'd be really interesting to hear like how, like, you know, in America, if you say like, oh, like I'm on my downsizing journey or I need to get rid of 30 lbs, you know, I wonder how it would be different from like how people would react like here in America compared to like, oh, Germany or Russia or Japan. Because usually if you say that, oh, you're downsizing or you're like trying to meet a certain goal, people are like almost like instantaneously before like the last word of your sentence comes out of your mouth, they're like, oh, you don't need to do that. You're beautiful the way you are. You're perfect the way you are.
It's an enforcement.
Yeah,
so I think
but I
a lot
wonder
of people,
how like other countries would talk about it or like different cultures.
Yeah, if you're from another country, let us know in the comments like how you guys handle like a journey, a downsizing journey. Do you guys is it praised or is it the same as here where they don't want you to do it?
Yes, let us know. Are you?
They're probably like,
enforced?
oh, you've been needing to do that for
yeah, they're
10
probably
years.
they're like finally you're fat.
Like, what took so long? No. Anyways, but you can see like if we had that cultural attitude in the US, you know how much easier it would be to actually get out of it rather than having constant and then they claim the opposite. So they'll claim thinness is promoted and everybody wants to be that all the time. It's like, no, not everybody is a supermodel.
Yeah.
That's not true. Most people are at Walmart. They're just basic people. And it's like no shade on anybody. It's just average people are average, right? It's the most plentiful amount of people. And the average person it's exactly what Angelica said. You don't have to do that. That's basically what it is. You're beautiful. You're not fat. You're beautiful. I'm just kidding. I know they hate that, but I don't know. Who even says that anymore? I feel like that's so old. Anyway.
Fat people. Other fats.
Fair enough. Okay. Let's continue. All right. So now let's get into the types. Okay. The stages of zombie infection. Stage 1, the runners. After exposure to the zombie spores, some people are overly empathetic. This is the largest and most common form of zombie. This group covers your enablers, people pleasers, FETISH types. Those are people that run cover for these are people that run cover for the issue, even though they don't have it themselves. They not only have TR beliefs, they will argue in favor of them. They often appeal to empathy or libertarian values. Quote, it's their choice to be fat. Quote, society mistreats them. Quote, all bodies are different. So those are those common things that you hear a lot by people that don't actually have the issue. And I have to call out Angelica because she was a
I was just
runner.
gonna say that.
Yeah. So what was it like, or like what, I just want to ask you, what brought you to that? Because if I was a runner, which I probably was when I was very, very young,
hmm
I don't remember. So what brought that, or like what brought you to that place?
I think probably like being a part of the body positivity community, and then because I started becoming involved in that after I had my first and only case of HSP vasculitis, because like
Mhm.
my skin looked like it was falling off. I actually looked like a zombie when I had
Oh.
that. So, learning about body positivity helped me like feel like I
Mhm.
still had value, even though I literally looked decrepit.
Hmm.
So slowly over time, like the fat acceptance community, like ate the body positivity community, and like all of the messages, I feel like I just slowly like was indoctrinated over time. So then
Mm.
and
Mhm.
then while that was happening, I was also like gaining weight slowly, but then I like gained a bunch of weight during the lockdown in 2020 to like
Mhm.
2023.
Yeah. So it was kind of like would you say it was more, I mean, I'm sure it was an element of both, but it was kind of like self-focused, but also other focused at the same time. Like,
Yeah,
or how
like
would you determine
was it
Yeah, I
that?
like a
guess
self?
so. Well, like, I've been like overweight or obese like my entire life. So when I
Mhm.
started hearing those things, I felt like it was like giving me some sort of like confirmation bias, or like letting me know like, oh well, like I suffer from like I've never been able to lose weight or keep it off, so like it enabled me to like not try as hard or even like
Mhm.
try to figure out like
Mhm.
what my issue was with food or weight. So
Mhm.
I guess more internally, but then like when you start to internalize things about yourself, then you also like put your mindset onto other people. So it's like,
Mhm.
well, I can't lose weight because 95% of diets fail. And like, so that also, um, like makes sense for every single other fat person
Mhm.
in the whole entire world.
Do you think that did you believe like some of the stuff that you were sharing like on your TikTok and stuff like that? Do you
Oh, 1000%.
really?
10 toes down back then.
Wow.
She
I was
wasn't a wolf.
brainwashed.
She was zombie.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
And like
Yeah,
I've
I
never
think, yeah.
had well, I mean, I've never had like anything diagnosed, but I've always been someone that's like been an overeater. I've never had any sort of
Mhm.
cycles or whatever,
Mhm.
just like chronic dieting, quote unquote.
Mhm. I would say too, like anybody subclinical would be a runner too. So people that don't quite make it to that level. There's also a lot of people that are more alcoholic-ish, and then sometimes there is a relationship between the two, which I always tell people like figure out the main issue between the two of them because one
hmm
is likely serving the other. But those are kind of similar issues in a lot of ways. So that happens too. So like somebody who hasn't, let's just say they're struggling with alcohol, they could end up being a runner really easily, I think, because they're might be chubby or something, or
hmm
it's that kind of mindset. But it's also like, you know, as they call it in girl world, death eaters, it's people in that category. They're definitely runners. But they're obviously it's kind of self-serving for them. It's like a gratification aspect. And then
For
I think,
sure.
Yeah, like a gold star.
yeah. Yeah. And I think it's also like the people pleaser type, or, people who have dealt with um like I think of that therapist on Jillian Michaels
Oh,
thing.
Edie, the ED therapist. The
Yeah.
sorry.
She seemed like so insanely people pleasing,
Yeah, and emotional
And yes.
for
And
a
so I,
professional.
yeah. And I think a lot of runners, they're kind of, some runners are also easily emotionally manipulated too. So that could be like a common trend because a lot of zombies use emotional manipulation. So people that are vulnerable to that, they will become that too. And then,
Naive.
yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes naive. sometimes they could have other like maybe neurodivergent types could easily fall prey, that kind of thing. So
Lonely. No community.
it's a lot. That's like the majority
Mhm.
of zombies. So we have to be clear about that. As we go down the stages, it gets more and more rare. So I'll go ahead and go into stage 2, which I believe stage 2, you'll have to let me know, Robin, but I think this is where you may have been because the way that
we'll
you
see.
talk about it. But we'll
Haha,
see.
you are worse than me.
Just
Well,
need
I
some
was still
cooler.
worse. We'll get to me later.
You were a bloater.
I was not a bloater. Thank God. I don't know if I'd be here if I was, but anyway. Okay. Stage 2, the stalkers. At this stage, belief has become repeated action, and a person is officially in the TR. This is a more mild form. They tend to experience anhedonia as their brain begins to fry from what they are doing to themselves. So there's a lot of boredom. There's a lot of, at times, depression in it, or like, I need to go party or something. There's a lot of partiers that are in this zone. So, because they get really bored because they have anhedonia.
Robin's face getting red for filth.
I'm just saying it's common. So they appeal to not caring and using pseudological statements. They are also very status conscious and try to humiliate their enemies, often going after appearances or their perceptions of their enemy's intelligence. They will also attack the perception of their enemy's perceived sexual market value. So you see this a lot, especially like on Instagram and stuff. I see it all the time. There's this one girl, I think like her thing is called like your daily dose of love or something like that. She is constantly going after like her perceived, how she, like whenever there's a guy that says something, she will go after him sexually. So she'll be like, he ain't shit. He has a small, you know what? He's this. Like that's very like stalker. That's like,
adding value to like sexual parts.
Or I mean, I think all of the TR zombies will kind of do like the cope of like, I can still get anybody I want or whatever. They kind of do that.
That's the only thing that's worth it.
Yeah. But I think within the stalkers, they tend to like use that against somebody else. So they'll try to put somebody else down by what they have to offer with, SMV. I think a lot of men are in that category too, that are in the TR. They do that often too. So it's not just that, but I'm just trying to use that as an example. So, okay. This is the type that thinks they are very smart. They are more calculated and better at hiding what they are doing. They have muted emotions and are therefore better at masking. However, they have lost touch with reality. Many in this category are in false recovery. So that's common in this one too. They believe that they've gotten better because they're not as bad. So that's very common. And will claim to have had an issue in the past, and therefore they know better than anyone else. So we can go to the next one. They are also the exceptions to everything, the special ones to which the rules do not apply. For those familiar with the channel, these are your mid-sized princess psychology types. So I think to read Robin, no, I'm just kidding. I think part of Robin's thing is like she has Hashimoto's, for example. So that could be very easily used to justify what's going on. It's like a common trait, or PCOS often falls in that category too. But what is your experience of stalkerdom, if you mind me asking, if you don't mind me asking?
The flies under the radar was the best, I think, because I hid so much. You hide so much, and I mean, I hadn't done anything TR related in like over maybe like 12 years before I had actually talked to somebody and like opened up and said like, this is what I used to do. And you know what I mean? And then I never really got to a point where, like, for example, like when I was doing reductive stuff, I never really got to a point where I never got to the point where it was scary, I guess. I think people were, this sucks, but people were praising me more for like my weight loss than anything. Cause I mean, I had gotten down to like a healthy weight, but what had happened was it happened in like less than
Mm.
like a year or 6
We'll
months or
say
something.
non-realistic timeline.
Yeah,
That's what we'll
non-realistic,
say.
like girl,
Yeah.
your body's eating itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, that, and then also with like when it comes to like bingo, I mean, nobody, if I had my own car, I had my own job, I had my own money, nobody knew about that.
Mm.
If anything, I gained a ton of, LBs that year, or those in high school, but nobody was attributing it to like me being in bingo. I think they were attributing it to other things. Like my brother had died, while I was in high school, and then I started getting onto like I was on the depot shot. So there was other things that could have like been blamed for that, and rather than my responsibility, like my own actions,
Yeah.
So
And then I just have to ask, because I'm weird and extra, but did you ever like fight with somebody over the issue? Like if somebody brought it up to you, or did you just stay hidden? I'm curious about that.
When I was like in bingo, my stepmom would like talk about me behind my back, and she was fat too. So what did you doing? But I didn't really fight with her. I think when it's so crazy, because when you're bingo, you're so shy, like you're so like you're so fragile. So I didn't. Confrontation was a no-go for me, and if anything hurt my feelings, I would just go to food. But when I was reductive, I did fight with somebody about it. Somebody had like went on to, this was like 2012, or no, earlier than that, like 2010. And when people would just like start fights on Facebook walls. So somebody went onto my Facebook wall and was like, "You are looking crazy. Are you losing too much, LBs?" Somebody had told me to stop doing shrugs like in a Walmart, like while I was walking by them. And I was,
Did you know them?
yeah, I knew them from high school. I hadn't seen him in like 3 years. And he just like yelled at me like from the frozen food section. And it was just like super awkward. So yeah, I did fight with people, but I was more brave when I was in the reductive part than I was in bingo. So
And what, like,
or shame?
Would you just like, was it just like you try to shame them, or like you don't know anything, that kind of thing, or like
yeah,
what would,
I tried to, I'd be like, I'm working really hard, or this was a big thing. This was I'm much healthier now, which clearly I wasn't. I just more like you have no idea what you're talking about kind of thing. Or I try to make them feel bad, like make them, because everybody knew that my brother had died. So I would try to make them feel bad, like this was stress related, which it was. Like mine was like stress induced, basically.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, somebody had called me fat one day and I was just like, I'm not gonna, but I would try to shame them into feeling like crap for talking to me like that. You don't really know what's going on in my life. There's reasons why this is happening or whatever, but in reality it was stress and like shrugs.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. Are we ready to go to where I was?
Yes, I'm excited.
Stage worse, of course. So stage 3, the clickers. By this stage, the issue has become severe. So I would say for me, I recognized my own stalker era was probably in high school. And then by college, I was like, then I was full on clicker. So by this stage, the issue has become severe. People at this point typically have comorbidities, both physical and mental. So I developed hypothyroidism. It got very severe during this time. The issue has damaged their brains and bodies, and they have become significantly hypothyroid. So that it gets so bad. I think regardless of what you're doing, you're going to end up there if you are severe. It's just impossible, which it makes sense. You're messing with your metabolism and all that. So it's going to happen. In The Last of Us, the fungus has grown out of their eyes, rendering them completely blind. Within the TR zombie world, clickers have a significantly reduced capacity for empathy and no perspective. Raising the hand. We love it. I was very much that type of person. It's like, well, that's happening, but how does this affect me? You become very like solipsistic. I think that's the word, right? Where it's like everything is about you, or everything goes back to how you're feeling, or you can't like I started to reach a point where I couldn't even like perceive, like, this sounds so weird, but like other people's weight, for example. Like it's like you just don't, I couldn't even tell anymore. Like I remember one time my best friend Eric, he had upsized a bit because he got injured and he was just doing all this, like, so he couldn't go to the gym, and he
Mhm.
he went on a trip and he just consumed a lot. It was nothing crazy. But I saw him after he got back from the trip and he was like, he wanted to work out and stuff, and I didn't even register it. I was in like this weird haze. Like I was doing keto at the time and I was on a break, which you know what that means. And I was eating like tons of peeps.
Peeps.
You knew it. And
The
I
gateway
entered
drug.
into this, I entered into this like peep haze, or like it was really weird. And I didn't understand why he was doing what he was doing. And he was telling me about like why he broke up with somebody. And I couldn't understand it. Like to the point where I dead asked him, I'm like, wait, so why'd you break up with him? And he would tell me, and I was
Like
like,
you're senile?
yeah, well, no, not even that. Like but I was like, but he spent so much money on you. Why would you break up with him? Literally, dead ass. I asked him that. So superficial. So
Mhm.
like,
Oh.
that's all anybody would want.
Surface
Like,
level.
yeah,
Yeah.
couldn't
Vain.
even process. And now I can understand it. But it's like I couldn't even see that he had put on some lbs, and I couldn't understand the emotional aspect of like why he would break up with somebody that spent money on him, which is crazy.
That is crazy.
So it really is. It was bad. But that's what I'm saying. So if you think of like trying to live life that way, where you can't really read other people that well, and it's just really annoying. That's all I
It's
can
almost
say.
it's almost like you were the only player in your own game.
Mhm. Yeah, and you become extremely superficial too,
Yeah.
because you can't, it's like you don't have an ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes. And the
That's what I was
funny
just
thing
thinking.
about it is so many clickers, they believe because they have strong emotions, they believe that they're the most empathetic, and they're actually the least. And it's because you're just so caught up in your own storms all the time that you can't pay attention to somebody else. So that's basically what that looks like. And that was me. Anyways,
Mm.
as the body and brain struggles to survive, the person begins to take on narcissistic traits and self-absorption. So that is a self-read to myself too. I love that. As their body breaks down, they live in a perpetual state of anxiety and therefore become extremely reactive. Loves it.
Mm.
This is the type you feel like you have to walk on eggshells around. They completely identify with their body size and their behaviors around food. So any perceived slight to anyone similar to how they look is a targeted attack on them. So this is like if you say something about a random fat person, then some clicker comes in, what are you trying to say? And it's like, whoa, they weren't even talking about you. You know, it's like, what the
Yeah.
hell?
Or like when people like downsize and other people
Mhm,
were like, well, what do you think about me? Because I look like your past self. Or like, what
mhm,
about the people that still look like you that are 100 pounds
Mhm.
bigger or whatever?
mhm. Yeah, it's because you so heavily identify with it. You still have your identity, but it's like a 50-50. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like you have your own identity, your own emotions, your own dreams and goals, but you also so much identify with your size that you cannot separate the two at all. And so if somebody does downsize and it's an affront to you, it's like insulting. That's the type of person where they're like, you just don't want to look like me or whatever. That's a
Mm-hmm.
very clicker statement, which other
Mm.
zombies will repeat it, but that one was birthed out of a clicker, I would say. It comes from that area because you cannot separate. And it does happen too with people that are completely under too. They'll really identify with their size too. But you don't typically see that because it's not, they see it as a pride. So when you're in the reductive and you're a clicker, you feel proud of what you're being told. So it has a different effect. When you're fat, then you feel shame. So it's like, how dare you say that about me? And then they go on. And I used to do that. I used to be the girly pop that would write like paragraphs. Like, oh gosh, it's horrible. I hate to even say that. It's horrifying, but it's true. I've done it. I've done the
Paragraphs
paragraph
of what?
and just paragraphs and paragraphs
Text?
of shit. Yeah, text paragraphs, fighting with people. Like,
Oh,
why are you saying
fighting.
this? All of it. It's so crazy. I don't even know how I'm still here about it. It was horrible. So I got in a lot of drama. But anyways, okay, they completely. Oh my goodness. Okay, so anything you say about somebody that looks like them is a targeted attack on them, as well as any attempts to comment on their behaviors around consumption or exercise. So if you say anything about that, it's, I don't want to talk about it. Why are you talking to me about this? It's literally that fierce. Okay, it's that reactive type. They are extremely perceptive to pride and shame and try their best to shame their enemies. So that still happens with all the zombies, but it's like with the clicker, they'll say random stuff that has nothing to do with anything. That's crazy. So let me see here. Oh, they will try their best to shame their enemies, oftentimes writing insanely long paragraphs full of projection or going into long-winded monologues. So we saw this a lot with the debate with Jillian, I think with, I forgot her name, Marcy, where she went to this weird thing and she was like, oh, and she like got all weird.
Yeah.
Was like,
she was the one that had the follow-up episode, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's definitely one for sure. So it's like if you were to say something to her, she probably would respond with this huge monologue. So when you get into like the very long drawn out stuff, that's more clicker. And then you also will get it in comments and stuff. I don't know if you guys have gotten any clicker comments, but
I feel like clickers are also like people who would do like slam poetry about their big fat bodies.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say so.
Cringy.
And
It reminds me of
projection.
the shrimp from Shark's Tale where he's like about to get eaten by a shark and he's like, my sister, she had a baby. And then they just start going on a rant for no reason.
Oh my god. Now it's just a stump. And he lost all his legs. That's so funny.
But yeah, so unfortunately it's not that cute because clickers go for the jugular. So if you say something, it's like I just reacted to one where she was responding to a gay guy and she's like, it's hilarious for you to say this considering you could only get married 10 years ago.
Oh yeah, that one was so crazy. Like,
girl.
What are we doing?
Right. It's like you got to go for the jugular. So people say really horrible and nasty, sometimes gross, disturbing things. Like it gets really awful. So a clicker is vicious. They're vicious. So, and I've been vicious before. I have.
Is there another like famous? Oh, I guess I should have been asking every category, but is there a famous like influencer or creator that is a clicker that you can name off?
Amberlyn Reed.
I was just thinking that with like the narcissist and like how
lack of self-aware.
Yeah, and just like the flipping out.
Mm-hmm.
And she will always be like, I'm an empath, and it's like you're like the fucking craziest, meanest bitch ever.
She's not an empath. That means I have strong emotions. I agree with that. I think she does.
Yeah,
but she's not feeling
empath
anyone
is crazy.
Else's. Yeah. No,
would
but she's a very good example.
Clicker?
Huh?
Would Tess Holiday be a clicker?
Holiday, she's full on bloater. You know it. Don't play. She's a bloater. She's gone beyond. She's in the other planet.
She's bloated away.
Yes, I would say I think glitter and lasers is probably a clicker too. I don't think she shows her lash outs, but I'm sure she has them.
Yeah, it almost feels like a lot of the clickers are pathological liars.
Yeah, I would say so.
Well, unless you keep up with glitter and laser stories or like commentary channels on her, she does clap back on people, but she only does that on her Instagram stories, where she'll only talk about things on certain platforms. So it's like, unless you follow her like literally everywhere, you won't see that like nasty side of her.
Yeah. Yeah, I will never forget when she did this live stream where she was like, she was on a cruise and she was like, they're just going to hate this. I know it. I know they're going to hate it. I know and nobody hated it. Everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, Queen Diva, you're
Yeah.
amazing. Like, I love your cruise." And she just ended it. She was upset that people didn't hate her. So that's pretty clicker. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So,
It's like she wants the hate. It's like she lives
yeah,
for it.
basically, yeah. So I say they go for the jugular and they escalate everything. They are so severe, they create their own triggering situations so they can engage in the coping mechanism more often. So that's definitely glitter and lasers, 1000%. She does that constantly. She'll get into the room where she's not going to fit, like the bathroom. Remember, like on the cruise ship, she couldn't fit into it. She did that weird rock hike, like, and she just so she could like scar herself. Basically, it's like
Yeah.
she wants to feel
Mm-hmm.
ashamed or scared or whatever. I also think Amy in half, she's a clicker. She still is one. So she has to show her body and stuff so that people will say something about it. She wants that kind of humiliation, which we
Yeah, I
talked
feel
about
like
that.
she lives for the shame. Yeah, we did talk about that. She lives for the
Yeah.
shame because she's so used to that, like in her larger body. So that
Mhm.
now, I feel like people like that. It's kind of sad. She's probably constantly waiting for like the shoe to drop, like
Mhm.
something bad to happen. So if she creates that bad situation, then it doesn't hurt as
Mhm.
bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
Like
she's
self-sabotage.
yes, and she is in massive danger of upsizing. I'll put it to you that way. Like if something goes wrong, oh my
Yeah.
gosh,
Her
Amy is
insurance lapses.
ooh,
It's gonna get
Amy's
big.
it's gonna go wild. But anyways, so for those familiar with the channel, this is more similar to a tortured level of severity. So this is somebody who has a lot of problems. Okay. There's people don't just become a clicker for nothing. Like something happened. There's usually something going on. This is where you get into like what Jillian was talking about, where it's like something happened to you as a kid. They tend
Mm-hmm.
to go to clicker levels, which for me, I didn't have anything like that, but I told you guys I had trauma with my dad and stuff. And so from a young age, like where there was substance abuse issues and that kind of thing. So that
For
kind of
sure.
chaotic situation is very chaotic. That's what brought me in to the fold. And then that led to the clicker stage. But I never got any further than that. So I never
Yay!
turned into a bloater. So let's talk about them. The bloaters, stage 4. By this stage of zombie infection, a person becomes too tired to fight in the way a clicker does. They lose themselves completely. No longer is their life about their own issues. Their life is all about promoting the toxic ritualistic in others. They are the living embodiment of the issue. They typically display extreme levels of pride and entitlement. They are now completely numb, so it doesn't show in the same way as with the clickers. They are unable to hide the issue, but they still try. They still try.
They're tired.
They are tired. They exhibit traits of both clickers and stalkers at the same time. They are completely obsessed with the media and society at large. They believe it is up to them to change the world in order for the issue to continue to thrive and live on. They have no sense of self-preservation and have no issues dying for the cause. This stage is very rare. Most people never make it this far. They are the leaders of the zombie horde. They state the marching orders and everyone else follows. So some examples of this would be Tess Holliday, Aubrey Gordon. I would even consider Freely the Banana Girl. She's like a very rare reductive type.
Oh yeah. I feel like
Yeah.
they're the group of people that will literally die on this hill.
Mhm.
Like
Yes.
they'll never ever backpedal or say, "Hey, I was wrong. I'm really sick
Yeah.
now. Like I really got to take care of this." Like if we start to
Mhm.
see Tess reduce, she's never going to say it's because she's on a GLP or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be some crazy lie. Like I'm predicting that.
Yeah.
It won't be
And
the atypical Anna though.
No.
no. No.
It never was.
I think J-Bay is a really good example of a bloater too.
Oh, true.
The whole like, we need to make
Yeah.
hallways bigger. And it's like, oh my gosh, that is
Demolish all
wild.
hotels so
Yeah.
the hallways could be 30 feet wide.
Yeah. Didn't she say something about the stairwells too, or the elevators? Something like that.
Yes.
I
And
remember
one
when
time
I heard. Oh, sorry.
No, you had. What were you saying?
When I heard that, I was like, she doesn't know this, but like stairwells and elevators, like the shafts are the first part. I mean, besides the foundation, they're part of the first parts of the buildings to get built. So like you'd have to just tear
Yeah.
down the entire building.
It's delusional entitlement. I remember too, like Freely, the banana girl, she would advocate for like mass sterilization. Basically, like she would push for like all men to get, you know what?
Why?
And she's crazy because she's nuts. But she was like, she's like I don't know if she was trying to connect it to environmentalism or something, or I don't know what she was
Probably.
doing, but it was wild.
So
And then,
eugenicism or whatever is okay as long as it's not like you telling people to lose pounds. Like,
yeah, well, Freely is the opposite. She's reductive, so she was always telling everybody that they were big.
yeah.
That was her thing. So she'd like constantly go on people's YouTubes, like she'd constantly do video reactions of Trisha Paytas and talk about how big she was. Basically, she'd do that.
Damn.
And she'd attack people all the time. She had a whole era, but I think it's incredibly rare to be a reductive bloater. They're very rare, but she is, because they're rare in general.
Yeah.
And then Anna is rare. So you have to think too. It's like she's rare within rare. So that's not that common. I think
she's not only a rare Pokemon, she's also a shiny.
The only other reductive
Holographic.
example I can think of would be like Eugenia. She's probably another one. So, like you said, they will die for the cause. They don't care. Their whole life is that. They're gone. Oh, and William. We could never forget William. He's a bloater. He has nothing behind his eyes. There's nothing left. So I don't know if you can save a bloater. I don't know if that ever happens. I feel like at that point the person is gone, and they're never coming back.
I wonder who. We'll have to find, or you will, because this is your thing. We'll have to find bloaters who were cured of the
I'll
cordyceps.
have to see if I can find one.
Yeah,
I mean,
we'll have to find somebody.
I would love it if William did. I love it as much as I'm a hater. It would be amazing if he got over it, but I just think, I don't know. The only thing I can say is we're lucky it's rare. Bloaters are not common. They're not. So,
well, and like a bloater, it comes with the extreme pride and entitlement, and to escape the issue or even like leave fat acceptance, like myself, it takes a lot of humility to be like, I was wrong.
Like an ego
I don't think bloaters could do that.
No, I don't think so either. And there, for a lot, like Aubrey Gordon, for example, her whole life is about it. Like, I don't think she could ever turn her back on that. Like, it would be, but I also think like she doesn't, it's almost like she has nothing else to talk about or nothing else to say anymore.
It's her entire life.
That's all there is. So, like I said, luckily it's rare, but it does exist. Like Aubrey saying, my friend downsizing was a betrayal of our friendship, or she felt so entitled to like that people felt like they needed to run and tell her that they said something against somebody who said something fat phobic. Like, that is crazy. I'm like, that is like a crazy level of controlling, like within a friendship.
Like she's like the king of fats or something.
With a lot of their talking points on the maintenance phase, they trickled down to the rest of fat acceptance TikTok. So they were leading a lot of it. So the bloaters are the ones in charge. They're the ones that lead, and everybody else kind of follows them. So anyways.
It's like the Illuminati, but Illumafatty.
The secret bloater society. No, I'm just kidding. They're not even secret. They're so loud. They tell everybody all the time.
Yeah, you're right.
They're very loud. Okay, so what do we do about it? Those of us that are not zombies need to organize. We need to actually organize and fight back culturally. We cannot act like this isn't a problem because it doesn't affect us. That is a TR lie. It absolutely does. Those of us with experience of TR zombiehood are in a unique position to fight this issue. If we have become immune, we have an important role to play. So that's the three of us. We've all experienced it, and we are cured. We better be. No, I'm just kidding. We are. We're out. Unless Angelica tells us the next day, she's like, I'm going back. Actually, I'm a fat acceptance person again.
I have to join the cause to get my monetization back.
She's like, I'm done. If that happened, I'd be like, she went full wolf, Robin. She's like, she don't even believe it anymore.
Well, Robin has my address. She'll probably come over to my house and throw me in the hole.
dig a hole for you.
Yeah.
No, I definitely feel like we're all in the right headspace. Like I had told you guys, like on Easter when I got fat shamed and I cried about it. And how I know that I'm no longer like a part of like the TR or like I'm healed now is like when that would have happened to me like 15 years ago or like when I was in high school, I would have not eaten for as long as I could possibly handle. But then I was like, this guy doesn't know me. And then I had a great night and I still ate dinner and didn't try to restrict or anything like that. And didn't really take it. I cried, but
well, you went on with your day,
I'm healed.
Your life.
Yeah.
That's great though. And I've told y'all like on my channel, like I had moments, like I always mentioned, I have to mention Taylor Swift. I'm sorry, Angelica. But I mentioned this song called The Prophecy where she says like a greater woman has faith, but I howl at the moon or something like that. I've done that where it's like I've literally like been crying in bed, like howling at the moon, crying of like some of the anxiety and some of the issues. But I was like, I will scream, I will cry, I will do everything, but I will never go back. And that's what it takes.
Yeah.
And I don't do that anymore. But that was like earlier on. And at times in my tortured era, it was that way but that was more like listless, like, how do I live? How do I do this? But like certainly in 2023 and 2022, like those times it was like howling at the moon, like so triggered or so upset. And it doesn't matter. I'm not going back. So you have to be, it's okay that you cried is what I'm trying to say. Like that's fine. Yeah. That's normal.
You're only human.
Yeah.
Right. That was that's all I wanted to do. I knew that as soon as I let it out, I wasn't gonna like fall back into like the old, the olden ways, Yeah. And that's how I know I'm doing good.
Sure are. And then eventually you'll be like me and you'll be stone cold and you won't care about it. I'm just kidding.
I know, right? I was like, man, I thought I was stronger than this, stronger than some shapes, but nope.
No, you'll be okay.
I know.
You're fine. You handle
whatever. Yeah.
But that's how you're out. So
yeah, exactly.
You have to have it tested.
It was a diary moment. It was like cool. I am doing okay,
Totally. So we all got to fight is basically what I'm saying. So let's talk about warm bodies. So zombies that have become self-aware are neutralized threats and are no longer hostile. They no longer attempt to spread the issue and they start to become human once again. Raising awareness is a huge part of fighting this. So if we let people know that they have this issue or that this is going on, they neutralize, because once you understand what you're doing, you don't want it to spread. So that person will shut that down. So they'll deal with it themselves and they hardly ever will encourage it in somebody else. I have had sometimes occasionally, like when I was downsizing publicly in the mid-size phase, there were some times where it would trigger some people that were like warm body zombies, but they would handle it. But that phase is tricky to observe because when you're in the TR world, you believe that a fat person cannot ever become thin. So when you see it happening in front of you, it causes anxiety. It's like, ooh, it's weird, which Angelica's going through that right now. She's having her moment. She's having her alphaba moment that I had last year. So, but it's fine. All I can tell you, Angelica, is it passes and then nobody cares about you anymore. No, I'm just kidding. Then you're irrelevant and you're out. And no, I'm just kidding. No, but to the zombies, people that want to be in the issue, they'll leave you alone. They will after a while. So this too shall pass. That's what I try to tell people too. I'm like, it gets better. It'll pass. It's like, it's the same thing with the anhedonia. Somebody commented and they were like, I didn't know the anhedonia maintenance would pass. Thank you for posting this. I'm like, people just need to know it will end. Like, cause you think a lot, like it's never going to end and it's always going to be like this and and it's like, no, it's not. So yeah, we'll be fine. All right. I think we're going to go into the barriers now. This is the reality of the situation. The institutions will not save us. They are already compromised. The government will not save us. The corporations will not save us. Walkable cities will not save us. There's a lot of fat people in New York, by the way, in New York City. Regulations will not save us. The only thing that will save us is a cultural revolution. Everything else will follow. So once we have a cultural shift, then you can start making those other changes. Then it will actually take hold. But until then, it's not going to work. And then I wrote in all caps, it is going to require effort. There are no easy solutions. We are already overrun. So a lot of people do not understand that. We are like way beyond like, we just need to change this law. No, you got to change like a handful, maybe dozens before you could have any effect, which good luck. You can't even get people to get rid of the freaking food dyes that are stupid and bullshit.
Yeah.
Zombies attack and they're like, no, I want my neon green mac and cheese. You know, they're just weird. So it's like they'll fight to the death for it. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy. So it's like, no. And then of course, corporations, they're like, yeah, do our work for us, you know? Work
for free.
us. Yeah. So it is what it is. So where are we? Or so who are we? Not where are we? We know where we are. Who are we? How are the ones, who are the ones fighting this? I knew I made a typo. I knew it was going to come. For the sake of the metaphor, we are the fireflies. We are the fireflies. We believe we can get back to the world before the zombie takeover. So we fight to get there. Okay, so let's talk about the barriers to fighting this. The real life Fedra, Nita. So in the show/game, there is this agency called Fedra, which is like the Federal Disaster Relief, something. I'm horrible. I don't even know it. But basically they take over as like a pseudo government when the zombies take over the world. And over time they become oppressive and tyrannical. And then the fireflies are often fighting with them. So like in The Last of Us, Nita was which is the National Blinking Disorder Association. They were originally set up to contain the issue, but it has become tyrannical and oppressive and a barrier to solving the problem in and of itself. So NEDA, the National Blinking Disorder Association, is why your favorite content creators in this niche are being censored and have to talk in code. So that's why people speaking on this issue face rules that are unevenly applied and ever-changing. So we love that. We love the ever-changing part of it.
Yeah.
YouTube takes advice from this association and therefore makes the issue hard to talk about. The reason why it matters is that it's affecting YouTube specifically is that in order to address this issue effectively, it has to be talked about in depth. This requires longer form content in order to account for the nuance involved. People with these issues struggling to get out also often need long form reinforcement of actual recovery in reality to replace the long-winded monologues within. So a lot of people don't get why YouTube is so important. It's basically when we put up our video that's like long or whatever, it helps people that are working to get out, because if it's not that, it's going to be the running commentary of their own issue that's going 24/7. So they like to have that. And then you can have that daily reinforcement of recovery, because you have to kind of like de-brainwash yourself when you're getting out of it.
Yeah.
And it's like a daily practice. So YouTube is important for that, because it's the only place we can really talk about things super long form, like we can.
Yeah, like an AA meeting or something.
Yeah. There's not enough of a replacement. So YouTube has a bit of a monopolistic quality too. So we're kind of stuck a little bit with YouTube. That may change at some point, but this is also where the home of anti-FA is. And I don't know if we can spread that thin, you know what I'm saying? Like, we really are not anything. Like, people need to understand, like, there's hardly any of us. You know?
I know. I wonder if we need to make the subreddit a little bit more alive. The anti-fat acceptance subreddit on Reddit.
Oh,
you guys read it?
I didn't even know there was one.
I think there is one, but there's like it's never has any activity in there.
Oh my gosh. Well, maybe we should, but that would probably get banned too.
Yeah, probably.
Because freaking Reddit would probably do it. But anyways, Okay. The fireflies running. I'm just kidding. So anyways, okay, let me see where I was. Okay. TR talking points. So the toxic ritualistic talking points are short, simplistic, and shallow. They thrive on short form content, and so they can survive easier on other platforms. What we do, not so much. So we are at a disadvantage. So basically, like people within the issue, they can go hop on Instagram and they can say some bullshit for a minute, and they can do like a string of reinforcement in 1 minute, post it, they're done. They don't need YouTube. They don't need to go in depth. In fact, when they go in depth, they sound crazy. So it's better for them not to go in depth. It's better to just be like, everybody will treat you amazing if you downsize, but if you upsize at all, then it's horrible. And if you want to downsize at all, it's because everyone treats you so horrible. They can say that like that.
Yeah.
We
No
can't do
links.
Blanket
that.
statement.
Yeah, we have to like say, well, it's actually this and this and this, and there's this phase of it, and then that phase. And actually, a lot of people that are big, they are in a privileged position. They have a lot of money for it. You know, like Amberlynn Reed, for example, that's her whole content is that she's huge and there's this whole world and, you know, blah, blah, blah. But we have to go longer than a minute to talk about all that. So that's why it hurts us the most rather than them. Okay. So now we have to get into Seattle. No, I'm just kidding. The wolf and Seraphite war. So this is another huge barrier to success. Within the non-zombie world, so of the few people that are not zombies on social media, they're dumb. So we're going to talk about them. Within the non-zombie world, there are two distinct groups that reacted to the zombie takeover in ways that are ultimately unhelpful. Wolves. Wolves are people that completely lack any idealism. They believe the zombie takeover is inevitable and therefore not worth fighting. They are completely pragmatic and focused on their own finances and social standing. They are not disordered, but they pander to the zombie horde at times for money. Quote, no food is bad food. Quote, calories in, calories out, with zero nuance. Bad faith advice that is at times impractical because there is no care of actually solving the issue or helping people. Wolves are completely focused on money. So these are a lot of like your
Abby Sharp.
trainers. Yeah. There's, Abby Sharp is probably a good example. And then we have our own Abby, Jacob Foods, but he got canceled by the Seraphites. So there's that. But anyways, it's a lot of these. There are some dietitians that are not in the TR, but they're just so focused on the money. So they often will push like corporate talking points. Like I just heard one that was like, people like additives in the food because it makes it last longer. And so that's why corporations do it. They don't do it because they're trying to hurt you or anything. So that's like kind of a bad take. It's like a bad faith take. A lot of people don't want additives in their food, but they don't have a choice because they're priced out of other options. So that's a bad take. And those additives often will increase your appetite or make it more difficult for the general public to normalize their weight. So it is still an issue to talk about. And that is a very bad faith take to blame the customer for everything all the time. It's not true. I think that that's too simplistic, but it is popular and it's a way to make money because then you can point and laugh at the Seraphites and say that they're all dumb or whatever because they care about stuff like that. And it's like, no, but we need balance. So let's go ahead and go to the next page.
Who's a wolf in the show? Is it like Abby or?
Yeah. In the show, Abby, it's the the Washington Liberation Front, I think.
Okay.
And it's her group of friends, and then they're fighting the Seraphites, which are the people that have bows and arrows and they whistle and they call them scars derogatively because they have scars on their face.
Okay.
Because, So Seraphites are the opposite of wolves. They are completely idealistic. They view the zombie takeover as a path towards enlightenment. Quote, because of what has happened, we can go back to what is pure, natural, and holy. They often have standards and routines that are impossible for the average person to implement. They also are not disordered, but they are simply not focused on actually solving the issue at all. They care about their ideals about nutrition and health more than the actual results. Their way of life must be everyone's way of life, or they don't want to talk to you. They tend to be carnivore, primal, or vegan, obsessed with touching a receipt or any chemicals at all. So you love the receipt thing. That's one of my favorite Seraphite talking points. If you touch a receipt, you're getting so much estrogen from the receipt. Do you like that one? Robin?
Yeah. Yeah, that one, it seems so dumb. But, I feel like do you need the receipt? Everything can be emailed, so. But I don't care. I don't care if I touch the receipt. I'm just saying that these people, they like, what's his name? Paul Saladino. He's
Yeah.
always making reels about touching receipts and stuff like that. It's like, Paul, first of all, I know you're not shopping at Walmart, homie. I know you're not shopping at Walmart. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's annoying. But I feel like if I were to go,
example too.
huh? What?
RFK Jr. is a good example of a Seraphite too.
Yeah, if I were to go anywhere like on the spectrum, like if I were like clearly I'm a firefly, right? But if I were anywhere, I'd be more like I lean Seraphite.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I think what helps though is you're not like picking fights with somebody. Like I've leaned wolfy at times and I've leaned Seraphite at times in my journey. Like there's been times where I've been like, I'm gonna eat Sour Patch Kids every day, which is kind of like more wolfy because it's like give me my corporate slop, Yeah. And then I still have like protein yogurts and stuff, which a lot of Seraphites are like, that protein is crap and it's so much estrogen and you're just gonna like die if you have it.
Yeah.
So there's that, but then there's like certain things like I'm very anti-seed oil. So they're like, oh my gosh, you're so dumb, blah, blah, blah. People have picked fights on me about that. I don't have soy. People have picked fights with me about that. It's like, oh my God, like there are bigger issues, you fucking wolf. Like, shut up.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck if I eat soy or not? Like really, does it really matter? You know what I'm saying?
It's offensive to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, which it's just weird. And I think
let me eat whatever I want to eat. I mean,
yeah. Well, and I think in some ways soy is promoted because it's cheap. It's relatively cheap and it's kind of like an easier source of protein for like a corporate interest. That's why I believe it's promoted, because they always bring up like certain cultures and whatever, but it's like Eastern cultures don't have that much soy. Like they don't have it in literally everything all the time.
They act like the people in Japan are just like sipping on soy all day.
Yeah.
It's like, no, they have a variety, but
which if you want to do that and it's working for you, I don't have an issue, but I'm not going to. I've had issues with soy. I'm not going to have it. I'm just not.
You don't have soy, but you're not out here telling people that they're stupid if they have soy.
Right.
That's the difference. Yeah.
Right. I will give like a little bit of a caveat. If somebody's hypo, I'm like, I don't think it's the best.
You'll come to my DMs, be like, this person eats soy.
I know, right? Like, oh my
Attacked.
gosh.
Attacked.
But that's what I'm saying. That's very Seraphite. Like they get upset about stuff like that. And there's certain trends. Like obviously there's vegan ones that are like red meat is going to kill us all and we're all going to die, that kind of thing. So it's just not productive. It's like live by your standard. And with the wolf thing, I have more of an issue with it because it is more money focused. It like bothers me more. The Seraphite, there can be a grift aspect to that as well, though. So I guess both of them are kind of grifty, but either way, they're not helpful. So yeah.
I feel like wolfies wolves are grifty and then Seraphites are shill. Like Seraphites will sell you like methylene blue or this red light therapy or these glasses that I don't know, give you testosterone, something like that. And then the Seraphites do it and it's like usually like a food product. Like when everybody got paid like a bunch of money to say like Diet Coke isn't bad, whatever the hell sweetener is totally fine. And it was like a trend, like all these people were talking about it, and then we find out that they got paid to do that.
Yeah, that's more of the wolves. They love their diet soda. Wolves love a diet soda. They'll go for it every day. I'm not like anti, but again, it's like sometimes it's almost like, to me, sometimes the wolf propaganda of it all. It's like, oh my gosh. And like you said, like one time my algorithm was hit by the diet soda is amazing crowd. And I was like, why am I getting so much? Like, I don't want to drink Diet Coke. Like, fuck Coke. I don't want to drink Coke products. Like, I'm not a corporate like slave. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying?
You're not loyal to it.
I'm not loyal to a corporate interest or PepsiCo or Nabisco or whatever. It's like, get out of my face, like seriously. but that's how wolves are because they get money. Like you said,
Mhm.
they get pushbacks and stuff. And then if you call them out on it, they're like, I'm not getting paid. And it's like, yes, you are.
Yeah.
Shut up. Like you said, it was literally called out.
Yeah.
And the no food is bad food crowd, they were paid to say that.
Yeah.
So
That's so nuts, dude.
you have to be aware of that too. So, but they do it because their view is this is the way it is and it's never going to change. So their view is like obesity, the crisis is never going to be solved. The zombie takeover will never end. I've tried to tell people, a lot of them, they try at first to do their things the right way and then they like
Mhm.
give up and then they're like, well,
Yeah.
whatever.
Or they've been like they try and then they get convinced or like they get brainwashed basically to be like, oh, yeah, I guess if you have to work really, really hard to lose weight, then that's just how your body's supposed to be. You're just supposed to be fat. So I'm just gonna tell them to, continue to eat or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. And or like if I tell them this, then they won't listen to me. So I'll have to try to say this. The
Mhm.
wolf is more lying. If they believe it, then they're going into zombie world. Then it's like, oh, your turn, But
Yeah.
there are like some zombies that are like Seraphite-ish and some zombies that are wolves.
Mhm.
They're kind of like is a blend. Like I
It's a
think
spectrum.
that one really obnoxious one that I reacted to. I forgot her name, but
The
I think
singer?
no, like Fork Diet Culture, I think.
Oh, another
Oh.
Abby.
Abby Roberts.
She's yeah,
We hate
she's
her.
very, very, very wolfish, but she's still a zombie. She actually has the issue, but she leans wolf. And then there are definitely some Seraphite-ish types that are TR,
Yeah.
So, but that I would still consider them a zombie. So it's a different category. But anyways,
Like a
right.
ortho.
You
Yeah.
just read it out of my brain. I was just gonna
Yeah.
say, like, most of the people who are in the TR who are Seraphites are like, I can only eat this. This is the only good thing for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if we were talking to Robin and I was telling her like, yeah, I'm just not keto. And she got really upset that I wasn't
Mhm.
keto and like was like, I'm not even going to talk to you. I'd be like, holy crap, she's a Seraphite. Like she's
Yeah.
a Seraphite. Cause that's like
Mhm.
crazy. Like they literally will not talk to you if
Yeah.
you don't
Moral
eat the way they do. Yeah.
moral superiority.
So it's like,
Yeah.
that's not helpful.
Well, I've actually like when I was like not first getting into keto. When I was first getting into keto, people, I mean, I didn't lose friends or anything like that, but I did get judged for choosing keto. And then especially when I went carnivore or just like meat based, like how I am now, you definitely get people who would probably not be my friend in real life if they like knew how I ate, you know what I mean? Or like
Wow.
how I have to avoid so many things. It's yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So I think people need to chill out about
Mhm.
stuff like that and just keep in mind like the actual problem
Yeah.
because somebody who's doing something in a way that's working or balanced or whatever, especially for them, like
Mhm.
because everybody is different,
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
I didn't do well with keto. I really didn't. But that doesn't mean that I have to have like 75% of my calories are carbs every day. Like there are certain days where I need fat and there's certain days like I'm more of like a balanced person. That's kind of
Mhm.
where I rest.
Mhm.
And I'm more of like a seasonal person. Like sometimes certain seasons of life, you need more carbs. Sometimes you need more fat. You need more or less protein. That's how I am. I try to encourage that in TR recovery because people get very rigid, but that doesn't mean everybody is crazy that has a specific type of diet that they like if it's working for them.
Mhm.
But I think the part that I have an issue with Seraphites is that they will insulate themselves. So they're actually not helping. And then like you said, then they will grift or whatever, or they'll fight freaking Jacob Foods rather than a zombie, and it's
Yeah.
like, well, we could have worked together here, but they
Yeah.
don't. And they're both
Mm-mm.
fit. It's like everybody's fit and they're all fighting about stupid crap.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so it's like, okay, this is just not working. So, anyways, I guess we can go ahead and wrap it up. But these two groups, often made up of healthy, fit people, constantly fight each other. They are more interested in fighting each other than they are interested in fighting the actual issue. So, what makes the fireflies different? We are focused on the goal. We are tolerant of differences in people's beliefs or dietary choices. We are united, even if we don't always like each other personally or get along. So, that's important to understand. I think a lot of times people feel like, you have to agree with everybody all the time about everything. If you're anti-FA, you don't. You don't even have to personally like somebody. There's a difference between like, would I be friends with this person IRL, and will this person help with the goal
Right.
and the activistic purpose? That's important to understand. Like, activism is not personal. It can feel that way to people, but it's not. You have to keep the higher goal in mind at all times. It's not about like it being a social club. And I've
Yeah.
always promoted the idea that people need to hear different kinds of voices. And so that's extremely important, that people have all types of voices talking about this, because
Yeah, I think it's healthy. Like, it's healthy to
Yes.
have disagreement sometimes, and that's how you like prevent an echo chamber.
yes.
We don't want that here. Like, we want other ideas. We want like other
Mhm.
opinions as well.
Yeah, I agree. And we also want like different areas of focus too. Like if
Mhm.
somebody wants to focus on corporate issues or, corporate exploitation, basically, that is a firefly thing to do.
Mhm.
That's a good, worthy goal. And if somebody wants to do like what I'm doing, where I talk about the toxic ritualistic, that's an important aspect to this. If somebody wants to talk about the activism piece, or, like Angelica talks about how she was an activist in fat acceptance and now she's changed. So she has that perspective. That's important. It's like we need to have all these different types of voices in different areas of focus, but still be united enough to actually get it done. And that's what
Mhm.
I care about, is that it actually happens, because I'm not purely a Seraphite. I'm not purely idealistic. I
Mhm.
want it to actually happen. That's the point of all of this, is for there to be actual change. So, let's see. Okay, we are a coalition. Coalitions are how things get done. Lastly, I want to discuss the firefly conundrum. Fireflies constantly walk the line between being too harsh or too soft. It is extremely important to strike a balance. We can't be so soft that we constantly lose ground to zombies, but we also cannot be so harsh that we threaten to kill somebody becoming immune. So, like, as far as the game or the show, you can't be so soft that you lose the University of Utah or whatever. Wait, what was it? Colorado, where like everywhere they went, the fireflies, they sucked. They'd be
Oh,
taken
yeah.
over by zombies. So
Mhm.
they would have to run. You can't be that lame, but then you can't be trying to kill Ellie. You can't be that vicious and be like, well, I got
Yeah.
to kill her. No. So, and I get it, because it's tricky, because it's frustrating to be a firefly. It is. We're not in a good spot. We're not. And that sucks, but it is what it is. I'm not going to lie and be like, we're doing amazing, you guys. We're not. We're not. It's like, we're really, it's bad. So, anyways, I understand being extremely frustrated. I understand wanting easy solutions. I understand wanting to be super nice and liked. However, these are all losing mindsets. The fact is, we are a budding movement. We are not in a good position, and we have to not get ahead of ourselves. If we organize, we can beat this, even if it takes years. Always remember, zombies are illogical. They are not that hard to fight. They're also very predictable. Together, we can come up with more and more effective ways of dealing with them, taking back our institutions, and then, yes, finally making societal structural changes that prevent this issue from happening again. And then the quote, of course, you can still rise with us. Remember, when you're lost in the darkness, look for the light. Believe in the fireflies. So, thank you so much. Thank you.
Wow.
I've
Good
officially
job,
been
Alex.
indoctrinated. I understand it all
fight.
now.
Join the fireflies. But yeah, so I think I just want to say too, like, you don't always have to do anything like super grand all the time, but even just being like a voice of reason in a room, that could be
Mhm.
helpful. Or in a comment section, that could be helpful. If you're willing to handle a zombie attack, you can handle it. Or like supporting an activistic diva. Like, for example, Angelica has been demonetized, which we haven't talked about. So it's like, if you could afford to buy some of her jewelry, please do. She's been demonetized for talking about these issues. That's a way of supporting people too. Like, that's all firefly activity. We have to support each other. And if something happens, we need to work together, you know?
Community.
Yeah. So, yeah. So like I said in the beginning, I want you guys to write comments of your ideas and strategies in this comment section, and also how you fight with them in combat, because I don't have all the answers. All I have is the map, and I can say like how these things show up. I can see the patterns, but I don't know how to exactly effectively fight every single type of zombie. I just know what they are. So that's for all of us to figure out, in my opinion. And I have to say thank you so much to Robin and Angelica for being here.
Thank you for having us.
That was quite literally amazing.
Thank you so much. And you guys have been so supportive. I almost said supportful. I can't even. I'm so
Okay,
used to
Amber.
censoring
Amberlyn Reed.
I'm so used to censoring everything I say now that I'm starting to speak another language. But,
Oh wow, can you guys see all of my newspaper junk? Yeah, whatever.
No, not really.
Okay.
it's just you're just writing out the zombie articles. It's fine.
Listen, I've got things to do.
We've got people to fight. We're going to be on their channels too, so check it out. And thank you guys so much for being here, and thank you so much for everything. And that's everything. I'll talk to y'all later.
Bye.
Bye.
I don't have anything because I would just sacrifice myself if there was a real zombie
That's true.
apocalypse.
Oh, you should not. I'd be
I
like,
can't
no,
run.
wait. You're fighting to the death. But anyways, okay. Talk to you guys later.
Bye.